This is the Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Parramatta Leagues Club, home of the Eels, and also home of Jack's Pale Ale.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and it was a 1918 victory to the Parramatta Eels in the round 23 clash at Commbank Stadium, played in front of 11,562 fans. Look, it was, 11,000. Yeah, look, it was a dismal afternoon in Sydney with a lot of rain, so maybe that kept a lot of people away. Maybe it was an interstate team as well that kept a lot of people away as well. There's certainly a lot of noise being made in the stadium, that is for sure, especially coming from the Swarm area, which is where I was sitting yesterday watching this game. Bays 121, 122, so great area to sit in. They made lots and lots of noise there. But yeah, 11,562, and yes, it was a 1918 victory to the Parramatta Eels. 3 tries all, 3 goals, I should say, to Zach Lomax, and that field goal from Mitchell Moses, which sealed the deal in the 74th minute. Now, look, to the game itself, Parramatta went into the game as favourites, obviously, but being the home deck, the Cowboys were in front of the Eels on the ladder, but they hadn't been playing the best of football. Their coach, Todd Payton, has been under a lot of pressure this season as well about his job, so that was obviously playing on the minds of the Cowboys. But look, it started off, Parramatta got a penalty pretty early on in the game, and I thought at that time, which I think was about the second or third minute of play, actually, I thought it was going to be a fourth minute of the game was actually. I thought Parramatta may have rolled on and maybe tried for a try, if that's such a saying, tried for a try. But they went for the penalty goal, and look, maybe that gave the Eels confidence that 2 points was on offer, and they got those 2 points in the bank. Look, in the wash-up of the game, it did end up being that important as well, because it was a 1 point victory. A couple of minutes after that, though, a dangerous tackle from Cohen Hess. Now, he was the third man in, and it was on Joash Papali, and I think he was very lucky to not be injured in that tackle, because it was, I guess you could say, similar to what Felice Kafusi did in the Dolphins game, I think last week, it was, where he injured the Warriors player. I think the Warriors player ended up with a broken leg and out for the season now. But look, Cohen Hess, that was a very dangerous tackle. Joash Papali, lucky to stay on the field and not be injured in this game, and Cohen Hess very lucky to not be sin bin in this game. It should have been a sin bin, I thought, but it wasn't, and I think it's come out today that I think he's facing 3 to 4 weeks on the sideline for that tackle, so that potentially could be his season over. But look, it certainly could have been a 10 minutes in the sin bin, so look, it was not very good indeed. The Cowboys, they scored the first try of the game through Jackson Purdue. Look, it was a kick put through. I think the Cowboys scored 2 tries off kicks, and this was the first one. Zachy Lomax, he slipped over just before he was going to put it down, and also the bounce of the ball as well. The Cowboys scored, then Zach Laybuck converted that to go 6-2 in front. 15 minutes in the game, there was a captain's challenge from Parramatta. It was unsuccessful. I think that was the Cohen Hess play the ball, I think. I thought he just flat out lost the ball, to be honest. What are your thoughts on that one? But we've seen this one go each and every way, but I thought it was a flat out lost the ball. But the Cowboys, they got awarded a penalty, and then Zach Labour, he converted the penalty shot. Look, the fans at the ground, they certainly let the referee know about that decision, that is for sure. So, look, let me know your thoughts. I thought it was just a lost ball, but the Cowboys got that call. But then shortly after, Josh Adokar, who we thought might have started in this game, being an Indigenous round, a very proud Indigenous man, I thought he would have scored a try anyway, but he did score a try. He got a double in the game. This one was his 12th try of the season. Look, it was a great offload from Jack Williams, and then Dean Hawkins, he just caught the ball off his bootlaces and got the ball out to the Fox. He scored in the corner. There was question of a high shot, but it was probably just play on. Nothing really in it. Unfortunately, Zach Lomax missed the conversion. Only just, though, from the sideline. But then very shortly after, in fact, only about 5 minutes after, the Fox, he got his second try of the day, his 13th of the season. It was a nice little kick from Mitchell Moses, and it was along the ground, which was good to see. And it went into the in goal, and just speed and instinct got Fox another try of the season, and he celebrated it very, very nicely. The whole team looked absolutely brilliant in their Indigenous jerseys designed by Sean Duncan Kinchilla, who was at the game yesterday and has done the last few Indigenous jerseys. So well done to Sean on the design of these jerseys. There was plenty of them in the crowd, that is for sure. But the team looked great in them too, to be honest. And it was the first time too that the NRLW sides wore Indigenous jerseys as well. Much more of that in the review of the NRL game as well. NRLW game, I should say. But the Fox, he got the try there. The Eels went up 10-8. Zachy Lomax, he converted that one, which was good, which was great. Right before halftime, the Cowboys had a raid on the Eels line, but the Eels, they held on, thankfully. Thankfully they held on. Which was obviously a great thing just before halftime, because you don't want to have those coach killer tries right before halftime because it can certainly change the momentum of a game. It was 12-8 at halftime, and as I said, the Eels held on. Defence this season, I think, from Parramatta has been a lot better than what we have seen in previous seasons, especially out on the edges, which has been better defence. This game had Dylan Brown in the centres, his first game in a while. He's a pretty good defender, as we all know, and I thought he went pretty well in that centre position. When he was named there, he wasn't named there early on in the week, but obviously there was a plan for him all week to be playing there in this game. He had jersey number 22 on his back, but yeah, he certainly did a job out there in the centres. Look, the second half, Parramatta did what they needed to do in that second half, and that was to score first, which they did through Will Panasini, and it's good to see Will get over the line. It was a nice little backline play. Joash Papali chimed in, and look, it's really good to see him going so well at fullback. He made a few errors yesterday by trying to take bombs, but a few of them were controversial as well. I thought there was a couple of tackle in the air penalties, but we won't go there. I'll let Jason from the Talking Para podcast talk about that one on the Tuesday Night Live show. No doubt he will be chatting about that for sure. But it was nice backline play, and I like him chiming in. He's fast, he's got good ball handling skills, and knows when to pass and how to pass. I guess that's the 5'8" coming out of him as well. And he just gave it to Penasini, who ran a good line, and he scored. Had a little bit of work to do before he got the ball down, but he ended up getting the ball down. And one thing, too, that I'm loving to see this season is the emotion from Jason Riles up in the box. Whether it's Parramatta scoring a try or whether it's disappointment of a drop ball or whatever, I just love seeing the emotion that he has, because he rides every single play, and it's like as if he was out there playing. He certainly is out there coaching the team each week, but I just love the emotion that he shows in the box. We haven't seen him give like a Bellamy blow up in the box, but we have seen excitement and disappointment. But I love him standing up, banging on the box glass. But it's really good to see, rather than just sitting there watching the game like we see a lot of coaches. We see, Ricky Stewart out on the sideline. He gives a bit of emotion in games as well. Benji Marshall has been sitting on the sidelines these days, or even standing up on the sidelines. So Ricky Stewart does that as well, stands up on the sidelines as well. But it's great to see. Great to see. Something else that was great to see as well was the chase from Riley Smith especially, and Josh Adokar as well, after the Cowboys winger Semi Valamai took an intercept, but it was a great chase from Riley Smith, the hooker, who played some pretty long minutes yesterday, and also with the help of Josh Adokar as well. Riley made the main tackle, but the Fox was there as well. 10 metres out from the line, brings down Valamay. Unfortunately, though, the next play of the set, the ball got shifted way out to the other side. And Braden Burns, he scored in the corner for the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they got 2 quick tries after Parramatta went to a 16-8 lead, which was unfortunate, but look, that was the game. But it just shows you what it means to players like Fox and like Riley Smith to do a chase like that. Maybe a couple of seasons ago, we wouldn't have had that. We definitely didn't have that speed in the team, and maybe Valamai scores for the Cowboys. But we've seen a couple of those this year as well. I mean, I think there was one. There was one in the Broncos game where Adam Reynolds did score the try. However, I thought that was because the Fox pushed him over the line. But Will Penasini made that long chase on Adam Reynolds, and almost, I thought he got him down before the line. I thought it was Fox pushing him over the line. But nevertheless, he showed that chase as well. The next Cowboys try was from another kick, as I said before, a couple of tries off kicks for the Cowboys. Papali knocks on at fullback, and Purdue picks it up and scores, which got it back to 18 all, and there was still 20 minutes to go. So nothing like a good old nail biter at Parramatta, that is for sure. Look, 8-point lead, you thought, okay, yeah, we're going on with it, but then the Cowboys get back to even, so it was very nail-biting, that is for sure, especially for 20 minutes to go. You just didn't know what was happening. You were hoping that Parramatta would go on and lose this game, which they obviously didn't, as we know the result now. But look, 10 minutes to go in the game. Talon Da Silva now, very interesting play there. He decides that he saw an opportunity that he thought he'd try and burrow over and score, but in my eyes, and probably a lot of Parramatta Eels fans' eyes, it was the wrong call. And boy, didn't Mitchell Moses, wasn't he furious about it? Didn't he blow up? There was certainly words said on the field. Look, I'm sure they have spoken about it after the game, probably even in recovery the next day as well. But, Mitchell Moses, he was furious about it. He wanted the ball. He saw an opportunity, as a halfback does. But Talon, look, credit to him, he thought he saw the right thing. He thought he could do the right thing and score the try, but it was the wrong play. That is for sure. And then 5 minutes to go, 35 metres out, Mitchell Moses gets the ball. He slots the winning field goal. Look, he had plenty of time to take the kick. He nailed it. Never looked like missing. Parramatta go up 19-18 with 5 minutes to go. And look, it still was nail-biting, that is for sure, especially the last minute of play. So there was a kick put up. Addo Carr, he was going to be the recipient of that ball. It made a late dip, apparently, and then he stuck his foot out, and it's hit his foot, but bounced back to the Cowboys, and Reuben Cotter got the ball, and then the next play, Jake Clifford, he goes over for the Cowboys, but it was ruled an obstruction. The Cowboys thought they had won it. It went up to the bunker. It was ruled no try due to obstruction. Not so much Jeremiah Nanai taking out Mitchell Moses, but the fact that he caught the ball on the inside shoulder as well. But Jeremiah Nanai taking out Mitchell Moses didn't help as well. But the Cowboys coach, Todd Payton, he was in the press conference, he was calling it a dive, as he has seen Mitchell Moses do that plenty of times over the years. But I guess if you catch the ball in the inside shoulder as well, that doesn't really matter what Mitchell does it? Because, that's part of the obstruction rule. And that's what it was ruled. It was ruled that Mitchell always had eyes for Jake Clifford, and Nanai was there. If Nanai wasn't there, could have been a different story. But it was ruled obstruction, and Parramatta go on to win the game 19 points to 18. They get the penalty. For the obstruction call, kick it into touch. I think they take the tap, and then I think Will Penasini just kicks the ball into the crowd, and to the emotion of the Parramatta Eels fans and members. Now, if we look at a few of the stats in the game, and look, possession, it was relatively even, 51% to the Cowboys, 49% to the Eels. The Cowboys in possession, 28 minutes, 42, Parramatta 27-25. Completion rates, well, look, the Cowboys, they had 95% completion rate, and you would have thought with a completion rate like that, they would have won the game. They had 2 less sets than Parramatta, completing 40 out of 42. Parramatta, 81% completion, 36 out of 44. The runs were pretty much the same, 188 for the Cowboys, 187 for the Eels. Post-contact meters were pretty much the same. The Cowboys had a slower average play the ball speed, 3.52 seconds. Parramatta, 3.21 seconds, which is always a good thing to have a faster play the ball. For missed tackles, it was 33 to the Cowboys, 32 to Parramatta. That one intercept that I did say about it. Penalties conceded, 9 to the Cowboys, 7 to Parramatta. 1 ruck infringement to the Cowboys. So, look, it was and if you look at the stats, it was a pretty even-ish sort of game, I thought, anyway. Whereas one side did not stand out, and I guess that shows in the scoreline being 19-18. I thought it might have been a bigger scoreline than that. I thought Parramatta might have been winning 13 plus, but it was 2 tries to Josh Adokar, 1 to Will Penasini, and as I said before, 3 goals to Zach Lomax and 1 field goal to Mitchell Moses. Now, if we look at the run stats, and Joash Papali, 20 runs, 190 metres. Zach Lomax, as he always does, he always features on the top runs list, 21 runs, 148 metres. Jermaine Hopgood, 16 runs, 127 metres, but also 46 tackles as well. I thought Jermaine had one of his best ever games, or probably definitely for this season anyway, for Parramatta yesterday at Commbank Stadium against the Cowboys. Also a proud Indigenous man as well. He never stopped. I thought he had a really good game, and that hopefully will give Jermaine a lot of confidence going into the remaining games this season, the move into prop forward. He has had a few errors in his game over the last few weeks, but I thought yesterday against the Cowboys he was really good. Dylan Walker, 17 runs, 126 metres. Josh Adokar, 13 runs, 119 metres. If we look at the tackling department, it was, as I said, Jermaine Hopgood, the top tackler with 46. Riley Smith, who had a absolute blinder of a game. He is a competitor. He does want to win every game, and when it comes to defence, he is right up on those stats. Played 68 minutes, 4 runs, 36 metres, but yeah, it's his defence. 45 tackles, only 3 missed tackles, 93.75% tackle efficiency. Riley Smith, as I said, he played 68 minutes. Talon De Silva, he played 25 minutes. So perhaps next week that may reverse. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Jack Williams, 26 tackles. Joseph Paolo. Junior Paolo, he played 59 minutes, 25 tackles, and also 13 runs for 99 metres. Pretty solid game from Junior. Another player who I thought actually played really well yesterday. He got the call up for starting position, starting lock, with Dylan Walker reverting back to the bench, and that was Luca Moretti. 25 tackles as well. Also did 9 runs, 91 metres, played only 35 minutes. But I think he certainly had an impact in that game and was one of Parramatta's better players in that game. So well done to Luca Moretti. Maybe we might see the same tactic used this week against South Sydney. So they were your top tacklers. In terms of the players of the match, well, look, I think I gave it to Luca Moretti as player of the match. Only played 35 minutes, but he certainly had an impact. There was a couple of great runs that he made there. Obviously got promoted to that lock forward starting position. Jermaine Hopgood, I think, got the 2 points, and Josh Adokar got 1 point as well, scored 2 tries. And look, he has been one of the best buys of the season for Parramatta this year. Just his leadership and his experience on the field, and also his off-field as well, leadership and connection with the other players is just outstanding. And also the connection with fans as well. Met him on Monday night at the Eels loyalty event, had a chat to him. Great with every fan and members at that event, but just generally as well. There was a school visit that he did during the week that was on Eels socials. Everyone loves the Fox, and I think he'll definitely be re-signed by the club for next year. I'm not too sure if it's been announced or not yet, but I'm definitely sure he will be in Parramatta colours next season, 2026. That is for sure, I reckon anyway, because he's been one of the best buys of the year. Scored the most tries, I think, for Parramatta this season with 13, and is an attacking weapon out on that edge. The Eels, they jump up to 13th spot on the ladder now with 7 wins, 13 losses, and obviously their 3 buys for a for and against of -152. They take on the South Sydney Rabbitohs next week. Next week is part 2 of the Indigenous round. This year it's been over two. It'll be over 2 rounds. In the past, it has just been over 1 round, but it will be over 2 rounds. And next week against the South Sydney Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium on Saturday night, 7:35 p.m. Eels members, I think you should have got an email a long time ago, and now I'm not too sure when it was, but about tickets to that game. There was free tickets to that game, so check your inboxes if you haven't already. Then I think don't quote me, but I think there was an email sent about the chance to get free tickets to that game to Allianz Stadium on Saturday night. So the Eels have jumped the Cowboys now. The Cowboys on 19 points. They dropped down to 14th spot. They still have one bye to come. Newcastle on 18 points in 15th. The Rabbitohs, they had a win over the Titans last week. They jump up off the bottom to 16th. They are on 18 points. They also have a bye, and the Titans are on 16th spot. So, look, a pretty handy win for Parramatta. It jumps them up the table a little bit. It gives them confidence, that is for sure, going into this clash against South Sydney, which I think they will be really competitive in. They have been a bogey side over the last few years for Parramatta, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Latrell is back for them, so big in for them. And look, it's going to be a great game, but more of that later on in the week. But a good confidence boosting win for Parramatta to get them away from the bottom of the table. But look, it's not all about the spoon. It's about getting experience into the young players, playing more first grade. And look, if you can get a win along the way, a win or two along the way, then that'll give them confidence as well, which is what we need going into season 2026. Look, as I said, a win is a win, 1 point victory. I thought it was going to be more. I predicted 36 points to 10. Wasn't quite that, but 1 point victory, that'll do me. 2 points on the ladder gets us up higher. That'll do me. A win is a win. Happy about that one. You'll hear more about that and from others on the Talking Para podcast tomorrow night on Facebook Live, 8:15 p.m. Thank you very much for listening to this game review of the Parramatta Eels versus the North Queensland Cowboys, round number 23. You can find this on Apple, Spotify, and also any other good podcast platform. You can also give me a follow on Instagram and Facebook as well. I'd really appreciate that one, and share it with your family and friends as well, and also all your Para fans as well. Thank you very much for listening once again. The Para Cave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para! How you going, mate? Are you a Para Cave podcast listener?
I am, bro. It's a great podcast. Everyone tune in.
Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. See you next time.